Crusoe by Daniel Defoe. First chapter is The Island. I got to sea. I was born in the year 1632 in the city of York, of a good family at a very early age. I wanted to go to sea. My father was a wise man and he begged me not to do so. For a time, I decided not to think of it anymore, but one day in the city of Hull, I met a friend who was going to sea on his father's ship. He asked me to go with him. Then, without asking my father, without asking God's blessing, without any thought of the result, I went on board the ship. The ship is lost in a storm. On the same day, we left Hull, meaning to go to the African coast. We guided the ship as if we were going to the island of Fernando de Noronha. Then we passed to the east of the island. After a few days, there came a fearful storm. The wind and the waves drove the ship this way and that for 12 days. The ship was badly broken and a lot of water was coming in. Then one of our men early in the morning cried out, "Land!" Just after that, the ship ran onto some sand. The waves came over the ship, and we knew that very soon it would be broken to pieces. We had a small boat on a boat. We let the boat down into the water and got into two. When we had gone some distance in the boat, a great wave came from behind. "Oh God!" we cried, and we were all thrown into the water. I am thrown up on the land. A great wave took me and carried me on towards the shore. It left me on the land badly hurt. I was very weak, but I got up on my feet and ran up to a dry place and lay there more dead than alive. After a time, I was sick and they are more dead than alive. After a time I was sick and threw up a great deal of sea water which had got into my stomach. Then I wanted to rest, but I dared not sleep on the ground for a fear of being eaten by wild beasts. So I climbed up into a tree and remained there until morning. I was sure that all my friends had been killed and I alone had been saved. I was very tired and I quickly fell asleep. I go out to the ship. When I woke, it was a day. The sea was quiet and the ship lay sea than a kilometer from the shore. I had with me nothing, not food, nor anything with which I might get food. So I decided to go out to the ship to see what useful things I might find there. I took off my clothes and swam to the ship. I climbed through a hole in the side. The lower part was full of water, but the other parts were dark. Bringing things from the ship, I found 4 large pieces of board and tied them together to make a raft. Then I put on his raft all the things that I might need from the ship. I took a large box of food and other thing for cutting and chopping wood, 7 guns and plenty of powder for the guns, pens and paper, some books also, needles and the few clothes that I could find. I took a small sail and fixed it in my raft. I then sailed towards the shore. When I came near the shore, the front of the raft went up on the stand, and all my goods began to fall off the end of the raft, which was still in the water. I just saved them and held them back. After a look of hard work, I tried the things down so that my hands were now free to work on the front of the raft and set it back into the water. Then I guided my raft into a little river. There I got all my goods safety on the land. I am